Hey everybody, Professor Snart checking in with our English 1102 online course. We are currently, I'm just going to go into our due dates here, just at the tail end of Unit 3, the shape of an essay or shape of a paragraph unit. It's due Thursday, September 4th, which is basically when I'm recording this at about 1:30 or so in the afternoon. Noticed that very few people have posted to the discussion board for Unit 3, so just a reminder that as you're experiencing, time management is really crucial to be successful in a course like this, particularly because it's online, so you're really self-managed in terms of time on task, but also, of course, because it's the 8-week semester, so we're moving twice as fast as we might in the full 16-week term. Again, as you know, many of our discussion board assignments have a response component to them, so you're not just posting your own, you're also replying to others. And of course, it can be really frustrating if you've done your original post on time and early even, but there's very few to respond to, so you're having to kind of wait. It really throws a bit of a wrench into your schedule as well. So for your own benefit and just to be conscientious as part of the class, be sure you're getting the work done on time. And so, of course, we move again into Unit 4 with a fairly quick turnaround, so there's really no rest in our course. We really move pretty quickly. So Monday, September 8th. So I'm just going to pop us into Unit 4 and take a quick look. One of the things that you'll see once you've completed the Unit 3 piece is this common errors section. So that won't show up until you've done excuse me, the Unit 3 assignment. So I'm just going to skip down to the content of Unit 4 here. This is another one very much like Unit 3 in terms of some the content being sort of concepts or composition concepts, writing concepts that we're interested in. The first thing that we'll do is look at a sample student essay. It's about a fairly famous short story called A Rose for Emily. It's not important that you've read the short story particularly. If you have or haven't, it doesn't really matter. We're really focused on reading this as a sample essay then. It's very much in the style and approach and tone as the essays that we'll be writing in this course. So it's really good to get an early feel for again, what the essays we write will sort of sound like, how they'll present a thesis, develop ideas, provide quotation from the primary text, and all of that kind of stuff. It's not a perfect essay necessarily, so if you see mistakes or things that you think could be improved, that might be entirely possible. There may be some formatting things maybe that aren't exactly the way that we'll do them, but overall, I think in terms of tone and approach, and the various things I list here, you really can see a lot of positive things going on in that sample essay. There's a brief sample essay analysis quiz where you're looking for particular components and making sure you can identify them. And then we move on to some of the more particular things in terms of, again, those concepts for our composition class, our writing class. Thesis statements, obviously really important for us. They have a fairly particular kind of style and function as we write about literature, which is what we'll do in our class. I won't, rehearse all of the stuff here, but you can read it on your own. Again, a lot of material to get through. So make sure you're reading it carefully, you're giving yourself time, and you're not just skipping through that stuff to get to the assignment piece. It really is important that you read the content as well. The writing process, as I say here in the unit, there's really no one process that will always work and that everyone should use in terms of how you produce an essay. But it's what's important then is not that you know the one process and adhere to it, but that you're aware of your writing process. Even if you've never thought of it, you have one, and it might be get assignment, write essay. That probably is not going to work. And if even when it does maybe produce a decent essay, it's probably more anxiety producing than it needs to be because you're trying to do all the stuff at once and you haven't brainstormed or planned or really organized material. So yeah, you get the essay done, but it's a lot more time consuming and just a lot more difficult than it needs to be. So when it comes to the writing process, I'm really just encouraging you to be aware of what yours is and think about ways that you can maybe change it or manipulate it so that it is a little more organized, that you really do have a plan going in. And the funny thing is that often it can feel like if you're adding steps to a process, it's going to make it take longer, which for many of us, that's the last thing you want to do. You want to be able to write an essay, not necessarily as fast as possible, but as efficiently as possible, right? We all have limited time to do these things, so you want to use your time efficiently. So adding steps often seems like the opposite of what you really want to do. But you kind of have to trust me if you haven't experienced this already, is that adding steps and making your writing process really effective actually makes it more efficient and thus take less time. So more steps, less time. It's kind of that contradiction or that irony that that again, if you haven't experienced that, and if your writing process is just get assignment, write essay, it's probably taking you longer, it's more taxing than it really needs to be. So there's no one process that I'll tell you works perfectly every time, but it's really important that you're aware of what your process is and thinking about, is it as effective as it can be? Do you need to maybe move some of the steps? Okay. There's a little reading here attached as a PDF on the elements of the essay. Again, trying to sort of hone in on some of the pieces of the essay, and a quiz attached to that. And then we have a discussion board to finish things up that takes us back to the reading that we started looking at in Unit 3, the short story flight patterns. Okay, so just to review, there's a couple of, or a number of different things going on in this unit. In addition to the content that you're reading through, there's the sample essay analysis, the quiz that you're doing, the elements of the essay reading quiz that you're doing, both of which should be fairly straightforward since you have those readings in front of you, so you can have the readings open and be doing them while you're taking the quiz. It's not about memorizing this stuff and trying to just recall it that way. And then of course the discussion board, reflecting on a story that you've already read, trying to get us a little bit deeper into it. So a couple quizzes and discussion board. Again, that due date comes around pretty quickly, so be sure you're really staying on top of things. And hopefully I'll be seeing some posts into our Unit 4 material a lot earlier than, hopefully just this Monday. All right. As always, if you have questions or concerns or anything going on, make sure you're in touch with me, and I will talk with everybody soon.